Everyone, have we started yet?
Yeah, just hit record.
Yeah, welcome.
So, hello everybody, and welcome to the Eevee Cafe, or should I say season's greetings, as it's clearly our Christmas special. So I ask you to join in, our lovely Eevee members, sponsors and patrons. Join in with the fun today and snap a selfie or an Elfie, whatever you prefer, and then post it onto our LinkedIn page. The best selfie will win an Eevee Cafe mug. After all, I think we all need a little bit of fun in our lives after the recent announcements. And no, I'm not just talking about the COVID infection rate, but also the latest news on the plug-in car and plug-in van grants to be debated. Sorry, Graham Cooper, I know you said that we weren't to mention it, but just couldn't resist. Although that dreaded virus is still among us, it's been another wild ride for the Eevee Cafe crew members and sponsors and patrons this year. We opened the digital doors for a whopping 1,000 minutes. We also attended events in person, live and physical person, such as the ITT Hub in May, Fleet Mobility Live, which I think was in October, and Paul, Sam and Sarah are currently live at the London Eevee show. I was there yesterday and there was some great stuff on display. We as the Eevee Cafe crew love going to events and meeting you in person, but also discovering and sharing innovative energy technology, vehicles and solutions that fight against climate change and poor air quality. Say that's about a cough. Didn't mean that.
Johnny.
It's not COVID, I hope not anyway.
Oh God.
but none of this would have been possible this year without the support of our sponsors and patrons. So a big thank you to the AA, My Energy and Geotab, and of course our patrons. But bring on 2022, where we will want to take over Costa Coffee and Starbucks, but in the digital world. Anyway, my name is Johnny Berry, and I'm the moderator or Santa for today's session. And in my day job, I am the head of decarbonisation for Hitachi Capital Vehicle Solutions. And I'm always here joined by the great Eevee Cafe crew, commonly known as the Avengers. I think the tea's gone down the wrong hole. In no particular order, we have Sarah Sloman, who has a lovely Christmas story to share with us a bit later on. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, it's so good to be here this close to the end of the year, and we've just come off a live panel session all about electrification, of course, so we were having a good time, but I really wanted today to be about each other, community, and also just recognising how far we've come in just 1 year alone. So looking forward to hearing from all of our sponsors and from you in the chat.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up is Rudolph the Reindeer, Paul Kirby. Shall we?
Oh, well, there you go. Hi, everybody. I am, yes, here delivering Christmas. Rudolph is delivering Christmas, and it's exciting to be talking about the things that we are today, because vans are so important to the market, and promoting them and celebrating them, even though the grants have changed and even though it seems that it's affecting the world. I'm not going to go on about that. Of course not. Anyway, so yeah, happy to be here and excited to hear what we're going to hear today. So fantastic.
I thought we lost you for a moment then, Paul. Next is my little helper, Santa's little helper. Well, he's not actually very little. It's John Curtis, especially if you've met him in person. He's a beast of a man.
Hello, darlings. John Curtis, Head of Communications for Charge Place Scotland, the charging network that gives you mostly free energy. And there's no such thing as free energy. So what's that all about? Anyway, lovely to be here, because actually I've had a bit of a tough time over the last few days. Mental health has been taking a bit of a kicking, and I've not been particularly well. Yeah, my friends from the Eevee Cafe have helped me through massively. So it was right to be here just to thank them apart from anything else, and to thank you for all the things that you have done over the year, because when you feel like you're useless, it's friends and people like you who have helped me to realise that I have got a place. So thank you, appreciate that. Much love.
You have got a place. You've also got our badges on your hat, which I want mine. You do realise I want mine.
Indeed, yes. So five new gold lightning bolts,
so
which are for the presenters, and there will be other lightning badges available from our merchandise shop coming to you very soon.
Thanks, John. You are amazing, and we love you, John. And more than I can say for the next person I'm about to introduce. And that's Scrooge, aka Sam Clark. I know he's got his Christmas hat on now, so it's all good.
Yes, and I missed the mute button, but thank you, Johnny. Thank you. I'm not the Scrooge, am I? I've just put my lightning bolt on my hat, and then I've realised now I look a bit like Harry Potter. In fact, it's too hot for this. I've got to take it off. But yeah, hello everybody. My name's Sam Clark, Chief Vehicle Officer, if I can speak, for GridServe on a day job. And like Sarah, we've just both got off a stage together talking about our respective companies that we do our day jobs for. Straight onto this, and then back onto stage again for the Eevee Cafe later on this afternoon. Which is all very good fun. And I was just going to also turn my virtual background off just for a second. There we go.
Our very own roving reporter.
Yeah, there he
There we go.
goes.
And that's where we are today. Look, so that's
Hello, everybody.
the Eevee world. Hello, everybody. And I have to
Put
say,
on the
I'm quite
loudspeaker,
pleased to
Sam.
say I'm quite pleased. There's a lot of people here, which is great because I
Mm.
was a bit worried that there wouldn't be because they put a huge amount of effort into this show. And with all of the trials and tribulations of COVID over the last few weeks, they're doing a great job. So everyone is socially distanced, but there's a lot of people here, a lot of people finding stuff out. So I'm really pleased for the organisers that they've been able to pull this off, which must have been incredibly difficult. So well done, London Eevee show. And with that, I shall pass you back over.
Just like to point out that the very fact you've already taken your Santa hat off does in fact qualify you as Scrooge.
Fine, whatever, bar humbug.
Grinch, Darren.
Darren's just said
Darren
Grinch.
says Grinch.
Thanks for that, Sam. So that makes up the Eevee Cafe team. But now it's time to grab your jingle jangle jumper, a large beverage of your choosing, because now it's time to look inside Santa's sack. For
Oh,
today's
dear.
Episode.
Oh, dear. It's so bad.
So my energy will kick off today's program with a Christmas message. Olly Craughan, aka Santa or Rudolph or whoever, as he will be telling us how many emission-free parcels, hopefully how many he intends to deliver personally during the Christmas season. The AA will then deliver a very special Christmas message to us. DriveTech will be, so Emma Loveday from DriveTech will be right behind them, emphasising the significance of mental health and well-being for drivers, especially at this time of the year. Then it comes to Geotab for a special Christmas message. After that, we will hear from Graham Thomas from Ocado, who will discuss the progress being made in getting the supermarket sector to deliver zero-emission Christmas. Last but by no means least, we will hear from our very own, who's going to share a little Christmas story with us. And that will be delivered by Sarah, who's disappeared. However, before we get started, let's do some Christmas digital housekeeping. If you are on camera, then please raise your hand if you want to speak, so we just don't cross over each other. We want to hear from you, the audience, so please communicate with us in the chat box. However, if you wish to come off mute or on air during the Q&A section, then kindly raise your virtual hand. There's a little raised hand icon at the bottom of your screen. Finally, we do love to be challenged, so please put questions in the Q&A tab, and we'll answer them during our mailroom sections of the show, which is hosted by John Curtis, our very own mail boy, or Santa's little helper for today. So that's all I've got for now. Over to the squad. Let's start by highlighting the importance of our patrons and sponsors to the Eevee Cafe, what it's done for us this year, what importance does it have for us for next year? Who wants to answer that from the Eevee Cafe? John.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
And why Sarah sideways?
I've already been on the Christmas wine, clearly. Sorry, everyone. I'm just going to sort that out.
Yeah, Patreon, really, really important to us and has been over the last year or so since we set it up. Patreon sponsors send us their money, which has helped us when we set out. It helped us very much to continue to do the things we do, to pay for this wonderful Zoom account and all that sort of basic stuff. And it's been really, really key in giving us that step forward. However, we are now at a position where we are corporately sponsored, and we have some wonderful partners who provide us with the wherewithal yes, quite to do the things we do. So My Energy, Geotab, and the AA, and so we've jointly taken the decision that from the end of this month, so for next year, we're not going to do Patreon anymore. We're not going to continue to take your money because you are special. You have earned the right to be with us, and we love you all dearly. So what that means is that you're founder members. So those who have been Patreons for the last year are founder members of the Eevee Café. You're special. You really are wonderful. And so you will have access to us that no others get. So through the WhatsApp groups, and good God, do we see lots of interesting information come through there. It's mental. And that's part of the reason why I've had a breakdown, I think, is because you wake up in the morning, you've got 300 messages. But, it's fundamental that we share, we join together, we work collaboratively on projects. And that's what we've done. So we've seen where somebody said, I need solar, I need a wind turbine, I've got a property out in X, Y, and Z, can you help me? And people have, and we've all brought our knowledge together. So it's really important that those Patreons stick with us if you can, but we ain't gonna take your money no more. But massive love to My Energy, Geotab, and the AA, because you have made the difference this year to us personally and to our reach, and we can't thank you enough.
Round of applause. You need to come off mute for that to work, guys.
Oh, sorry, leaving me hanging.
Clap, 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 clap. Actually, I can't resist this, but Graham Cooper from the National Grid is going to hate me for asking this. But what do we make of the recent plug-in car and plug-in van grants and announcements? Paul?
But Johnny, I think it's worth explaining what they are. I know them for vans, obviously didn't pay much attention to the car bit, but so they've reduced the small van grant by 500 quid and the large van grant by 1,000 quid, which is not insubstantial. A lot of talk in the marketplace that get the grants out, put the pressure on the manufacturers to reduce prices. That is a fair point. They've also limited the grants to 1,000 orders in vans as well. So that's a little bit. It's interesting. I mean, it puts a limit on the likes of our friends at British Gas and BT and others. Capitalising on it. I suppose that arguably that could have come lower, to be fair. But you don't want to stifle the market too much. But I'm concerned again that SMEs are losing out because they're second to the party. And all the money is going to get spent on the big guys, and it's not going to go low. But the grants have got to go eventually. But at what pace and at what cost? So,
yeah,
my thought.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. Who wants to talk about the car grant side of things?
Graham Cooper has answered your question, Johnny. I don't know if you've seen it, but Graham Cooper. I'm going to enunciate his words. Okay. When the last cut came in, Eevee prices corrected themselves after about a week. So the budget is the budget, and when the funds have gone, they have gone. And this is a managed glide path rather than a cliff edge. It's not needed to stimulate car sales. There's already nearly 1 in 5 cars last month for electric. And there are more buyers than there are car supplies. So on balance, this feels like the right thing to me, having lived through solar feed-in tariffs, heating RHIs, and wind rocks. Experience tells me that government are learning, which is always good. Government and learning in the same sentence. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, but what does he know? Everything is the answer, basically.
Oh, somebody said about the acronym, police. What was the acronym?
So feed-in tariffs for solar, renewable heating incentive for RHI, and wind rocks. What's rocks? I ain't got wind.
We'll come back to Graham later, shall we? But it's now time for us to hear from Kate from My Energy.
Yay,
who has a very, very special Christmas message. Over to you, Kate.
Well, I'm clearly in like the Bahamas or my glamorous destination. Now, I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there with you guys today. PCR has got me against a rock and a hard place. So here I am from my lovely location. basically, My Energy came on as the first sponsor of the Eevee Cafe, and we could not be more proud to have started a trend, and long may it continue. The Eevee Cafe is very special to us because we can reach out to other groups of people who just really want to understand what electrical conversion means to them, what it means to business, answering all of those really important questions that we had when we first started our electrical journey. And I think it's really important that we keep coming back to that. You know, what was it like in the beginning, and how can we be more patient with people as they adapt to their new lifestyle, but also opening up those conversations to encourage more and more people to adapt to that conversion. So as a business, over the last year, My Energy have experienced exponential growth, where we had our Christmas party very recently, and the CEO mentioned that the last time we were all together under one roof having a party, there were 60 employees, and today we have over 360 employees. So that's a couple of years difference. We are in a huge, gorgeous Google-esque vibe head office now in Stallingborough. And it was announced, so I can share with you, but I can't share details, that the worldwide chip shortage did have an impact on a product launched this year, so we do apologise for that. However, for 2022, we will have a product, a brand new spanking product launching. We will also be building a purpose-built manufacturing unit, so that should increase the numbers of Zappies that we can push out for everybody who's desperate to get their hands on one. And we did recently get voted the top at-home charger. I think it was by Auto Trader, ranked us as #1, so that was really cool. So it's been a great year. Next year is looking even better. We've had Australia and Irish subsidiaries opening this year, so we're aiming for global domination. We will continue our partnership with the Eevee Cafe, as it's very special to us, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the ITT Hub, which I think is our first collaborative effort for next year. But do keep an eye on the Eevee Cafe LinkedIn page, because they'll tell you everywhere where we're going to be, and the My Energy events page, which will tell you everywhere where My Energy are going to be. And oh my God, if you saw our stand this year, just you wait until you see it next year.
Sorry, Kate. Okay, I've got to ask, how big is your carbon footprint after flying to the Bahamas?
Well, I flew here on pixie dust, so it's not.
Well, thank you, My Energy. And John?
I just want to know, Kate, what is your brand new spanking product?
I can't. It's spanking.
No, you're missing my point.
I know, you went there.
At the end of that your show?
In fairness, Darren Anviner went there and I just followed.
You're all dirty, the lot of you.
Paul, you'll be pleased to know that we've had an answer to that acronym. So Linda Gray thinks it's renewable obligation something, but I think Graham Cooper's right with renewable obligation certificates. Okay, you happy now, Paul?
Very good. Yes, I'm happy now that you are released without charge.
So thank you, My Energy, and happy Christmas to you and the team. It's now time to hear from our first guest speaker of today, Mr. Olly Craughan.
Thanks, Johnny. Hi, everyone. Merry Christmas and happy 2022 on the horizon, hopefully. So let me just share my screen and I'll be able to give you the update from DPD and how much we have been delivering over the last year. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So, guys, you know, back in 2019, we only had 149 electric vehicles. By the end of this year, we will have 1,500 on fleet, so 900% or over 900% increase in fleet in electrification. We are just waiting on our last delivery of vans. Obviously, global supply chain and shipping has been quite impacting to everyone. So we are nearly there at 1,500 mark, something we're really, really proud of. With that increase, we have delivered over 15.5 million parcels all electric at DPD this year. We did 11.2 last year, and we should end this year with over 18 million parcels delivered all electric. And with that, by our calculations, that's saving over 6.65 million kilograms of CO2 as well. So fantastic work from the team, all the parcel Jedis at DPD. And in Cyber Week, I'm sure you all probably were ordering parcels on Black Friday and throughout that week and weekend. Well, people like ourselves have to obviously deliver them to you. So in Cyber Week, we delivered over 600,000 parcels emissions free on our fleet. That's an increase of over 200,000 from last year. Obviously, last year was a huge year in parcel delivery for all of the delivery companies due to COVID and people home shopping. So really proud of the team. Looking forward to maybe hitting over 1 million emissions-free parcels next Cyber Week in 2022 when we increase our fleet further. So I've been on Eevee Café before and I've talked at numerous events. I'm sure you're all aware of our Vision 25 strategy. Well, originally that was to be delivered by 2025. That's 25 towns and cities delivered all electric, up to 3.5 ton vehicle by the end of 2025. In true DPD fashion, we've decided 2025 is too long to wait. So we're going to be delivering that by the end of 2023. Okay, so that's the highest population, 25 towns and cities in the mainland UK to be delivered all electric in the final mile. 25% of our volume, which will be about 100 million parcels, and it will be covering 25% of the UK population. So we are pushing ahead with that. This year, we aim to do 10 cities all electric. We achieved Oxford. Again, sadly, we were impacted by the supply chain and shipping, and we're still continuing to receive our vans. So we will be delivering the others we aim to by the end of January next year. And then our roadmap will be to roll out these cities: Sheffield, Leeds, Liverpool, Edinburgh, Cambridge, Brighton, Leicester, and Coventry by the end of next year as well. You know, we've ordered the vans. It'll be the back end of the year that we complete these cities, but we are really pushing ahead. And that will mean that we'll double our fleet by the end of next year. So we will have 3,000 electric vehicles delivering parcels across the UK. And I'm proud to say then, because we've accelerated our Vision 25 strategy, that we will end 2023 with over 5,000 vehicles. And at the moment, that is, or will be, over 35% of our entire delivery fleet electric by the end of 2023. So we are going at light speed, you know, with this and really pushing forward. But it's not just about delivery vehicles and switching those out from ICE to electric. We've increased our pickup shop network. So when we miss someone, if they're not in, we take that parcel back to the depot and then redeliver it the next day, which obviously is more mileage, more CO2, you know, adding to congestion, etc. So we have increased our pickup shop network. This year, we've started working with the post office, and that's massively increased our pickup shop network to 6,000 places in the UK that you can go and collect your parcel. We've also started to actually drop it off at the pickup shop after the first delivery if you weren't in. So it should be, hopefully, a walk away, a train ride away, a tube away to pick up your parcel to reduce those unnecessary journeys as well. And if you do have the DPD app unloaded, you can always leave it in a safe place. So the driver knows where to leave it and doesn't mean that you have to go to a pickup shop. But we are looking more than just the final mile delivery vehicle and switching that out. There's other solutions and options for the consumer. And then, you know, all of our 90 sites are powered by renewable energy. We have a contract with an energy business for that, but that hasn't stopped us rolling out our solar network on our hubs. And we have generated over 1.75 million kilowatt hours of energy fed back to the grid if we haven't used it. And a little Christmas fun fact, and please don't quote me on these calculations, but that's the equivalent energy to light 900,000 Christmas trees for 8 hours a day, that is, for 12 days of Christmas. So that's like super stuff. And obviously we're feeding back to the grid the stuff that we don't use and helping power the country with renewable energy as well. So really proud of that achievement this year. And on top of that, we've donated money out of our eco fund that we have to plant over 100,000 trees. So we've worked with Forestry England and the Tree app. Download the Tree app, guys. You can plant trees for free if you haven't already downloaded that app. I'm not paid by them, by the way, or anything. It's just you can go on that app and plant trees for free across the world, helping local communities. They're paid to plant trees. It's obviously helping the environment and wildlife as well. So, you know, look it up, and we're planting trees. And this isn't about carbon offsetting. It's just about doing the right thing and planting trees. Okay, so really cool. And then, because I do have a Star Wars Christmas jumper on today, you know, not that you can really see that, I believe in this, and it's a quote of Yoda: "Do or do not. There is no try." So everyone needs to get involved in sustainability, decarbonising their operations, even looking not just on a business level, but the things you do as well, like travelling to the Bahamas, maybe without offsetting. You know, everyone's got to join the fight. There's no winners, there's just losers in this. Everyone has to, you know, make an effort for the future. And then, last of all, there's so much more we're doing. Please visit the green website that we have dedicated to DPD sustainability. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at csr@DPD Group. So look, hopefully that hasn't run over my 5 minutes allocation. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Perfect time. I think you've had practice there, Ollie, seeing that you've been on a few times, but some fantastic stats. Well done to you and the whole DPD team. I'm not a fan of Star Wars, unfortunately. Sorry, I haven't watched it. So, but I did love the image of John at the end. So, but what I will say is hurry up with Brighton, please. I want some zero-emission parcels delivered for next Christmas, if that's okay.
You've never seen
Johnny,
Star Wars.
Johnny, you've alienated half of the whole audience. They hate you.
Okay. I've got some time over Christmas to watch Star Wars. I think John's left.
Yeah. Catch up. Dear me.
So if you have any questions for Ollie, which I'm sure you do, please get them in the Q&A tab, and John will get them answered for you. John's a bit...
Don't start with the Phantom Menace, Johnny. Don't start with the Phantom Menace, whatever you do.
You have to tell me.
Very important question for Ollie. Hang on. Very important question for Ollie. How does he feel about the threat from Lake's Electrical Delivery Services, Simon Brace?
Sorry, Paul, what was that? I'm getting distracted by John pretending to have a lightsaber as well.
I've just spotlighted him. So
I was saying that. Right, can you hear me? Earth to Johnny,
yes.
Or Ollie, or anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, excellent. So Simon Brace has an important question, and Simon has been with us from the very beginning. How does Ollie feel about the threat from Lake's Electrical Delivery Services leading the green charge?
Can I ask him a proper question instead?
Is that late delivery of vehicles? Was that
late? No, don't worry, it's fine. Moment's gone.
Okay. Sorry.
Ollie, let me fill in here because I've got a question for you as well. But Simon Brace is from up in Scotland. He's north of England.
Or Lake's Electrical Lake.
The clues in the name, Sam.
North of England. North of England. He's
up there somewhere.
Yeah, he's a one-man crusade of Eevee delivery up in the north. So yeah, he's an amazing supporter of Eevee Café. So Paul's very poorly worded question was a bit of a joke, which fell on like a I don't know what. But
tumbleweed moment, yes.
Tumbleweed moment. I had a question for Ollie. Firstly, Ollie, those statistics are phenomenal. As you well know, and some people will know, I used to run my own last mile fully electric delivery company for a decade.
Did you, Sam?
Oh,
Have you been
no
driving
way.
EVs for
No, no,
18 years?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Sloman. I didn't say that.
Did you set it up?
Anyway, listen, Kirby, you can't talk. You tumbleweed moment. So shut up now.
I know.
But no, it's just incredible to see the we used to be competitors a long time ago, and I'm glad that I'm out of it because frankly, you would have blown me away. But it's just incredible the transition you've made and the move, not transition, but just the move to that number of vehicles and to get to sort of thousands and thousands of EVs on the road is just phenomenal. So, hand on my heart, I think it's incredible what you guys have done. So very, very, very well done. My question is that is the challenges that creates. So obviously there's a challenge with charging infrastructure, there's a challenge with vehicle capacity. One of the things I always had a problem with, as I'm sure you do too, is cubic capacity. You've got so many parcels to deliver, especially this time of year with drop density being so high, with so many parcels per drop, etc. The electric vehicles you're bringing on stream are not the same cubic size as the ones that you have today. So how are you mitigating that? Is it simply putting more vehicles on the road, or are there other mechanisms by which we're trying to mitigate that sort of cubic challenge?
When we set about the data for Vision 25, we actually put in 1.3 vehicles to substitute for an ICE because, like you said, a Mercedes Sprinter, for example, that we typically use, diesel is a 15 cubic capacity, and most 3.5 tons electrics 11. So there is that point. It's not huge. A lot of our volumes are becoming smaller parcels the more we transition to sort of retail, e-commerce more than B2B traffic with the larger parcels, although there's still that volume. But yeah, it's substituting additional vehicles. Payload's also an issue. It's not just the cubic capacity as well. So there are challenges ahead, and really the next step is to procure things that are larger than 3.5 ton as well.
Ollie, I was going to ask that question actually to just follow on from what Sam asked there. The 4 ton or 4.25 ton derogation from the government allowing you guys to register vans that are up to 4.25 ton and use them with a standard driving license and without an operator's license. Is that something that you're considering?
Definitely, Paul. We'll need to train our drivers for that. There's a small module, isn't there, that they're stating. That shouldn't be an issue. We've got numerous trainers within the business. They're phenomenal, and even just a normal driver transitioning from ICE to electric, our on-the-job trainers in each depot train them to do that. They know how to drive, obviously. But driver, as we all know, that transition is very different. The behaviour, the acceleration, the charging, etc., has to be trained out to make sure that this challenge is people understand the challenges, that it isn't the ideal solution. I think we talked about it earlier this week. I always think it's like a kid of the 70s where you had to get off the sofa and press the button on a telly to change the channel. It's a bit like that. Usually evolution becomes more convenient, so you get your flat screen and your remote control. We're in a way now telling people to get back off the sofa and change the channel because it takes 30 minutes, several hours to charge a vehicle instead of 10 minutes at a petrol pump. So there are those challenges, obviously, changing that behaviour.
Excellent, thanks, Ollie. So I'm just catching up on the chat. Everyone's telling me that I need to watch Star Wars now. So if you can give me the order of the films, then I'll get onto it, as long as it's on Netflix as well. It's now time for another Christmas message, this time from the AA. The guy is known in the industry, and no, it's not the Christmas baby Yoda that Graham sent in onto the chat. It's Dean Hedger. Hello, Dean.
Hello guys. How you all doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. You have 2 minutes, not 5, Dean, if that's all right. And we're a bit behind on time already. Actually, considering you're a sponsor, take all the time in the world.
Do you know, Johnny, I was thinking that it's a year since I was on the last Christmas special, which we did live from Gridserve, which I'm sure Sam will remember us sweating on the motorbikes. And given that was a year ago and it was last Christmas, I think deserves a little song for everyone.
Oh my God.
DJ talents coming to the fore.
There we go. Listen,
Not.
apologies if you're doing Whamageddon because you're out. So let me just show you. I'll keep it very brief, but we did put some slides together. It's been a great year. It's been great to align with you guys. We've got a lot of shared thinking in the AA and with the Eevee Café team and the group. And we did a very brief few slides on kind of like the year in review in terms of what we've done so far. So let me just quickly share the screen.
Just Darren Anover, he's just sent in the list of movies, Star Wars episodes. How many of them are there? Learn something new every day.
Johnny,
It's controversial though.
There's only 3 to watch, mate. Don't worry. There's only 3 you need to watch.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
About 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Can you see the screen?
9,
Yes,
8,
mate.
7.
7, 6. That's all we've got time for, Dean.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
So it's been a first full year for the support service we provide to lots of you who are sometimes struggling at public charge posts, and we thought it'd be a good idea to let you see with obviously a yellow line, which is traditional in AA circles, of the number of calls that we've received through the course of this year. And you can see there we're nudging 9,000 at the peak. Really busy through the summer, really kicked off in March, lockdown eased, staycation effect, and the increase in Eevee registrations has really seen a lot coming through. We've got 7 partners on the service now, 29 call handlers, that'll be over 30 pretty soon in the new year. And the service is obviously 24/7, and we've got more operators due to come on board and further recruitment planned for 2022. So, you know, that's been a really exciting innovation from us, and we're pleased to see it working the way it is. We won lots of awards, but I won't dwell on those. I will go straight through to my holiday photos from Evros. So there might be some of you in these, but we had a fantastic trip up there. Really great to be involved in that. We're looking forward to being involved in the further activity that's going to come through in 2022. And it was great to use some of our charge point partners whilst we were out on the rally. I think there's a shot. There you go, Sam. There's the bottom right corner. That's us charging up at GridServe in John O'Groats, which did us proud, that one. That did us proud. Actually, they all did, the ones in the pit. I think on a more serious note, and if anybody wants to pick my brains on this afterwards, but we've done some analysis on what we experienced at Evros and things like recommendations around the charging network, what we thought of the vehicles and what we think is needed now, and how the AA is still, you know, evolving our service to ensure that we provide the best service to the Eevee drivers. The penultimate slide is really boring, so I won't dwell on this one, but it's got lots of interesting information in. It's just not that pretty to look at. But again, if you want to know more about what the AA is up to, please feel free to get in touch and I can take you through this. And last but not least, the final slide is the Happy Christmas message from me, everybody you guys have been involved with at the AA, and obviously Tucker, who will you will be seeing more of in 2022, but I can't say more than that.
Dean, are we going to see a Tucker under our Christmas tree this year? Some of us, we don't have a Tucker yet.
Oh, don't you, Johnny? That's a shame.
Oh,
I think I've got one.
Johnny, if you replied to my email, Johnny, you may have a Tucker, but you didn't. So, sorry, buddy.
It's all right. It's all right.
I've got a Tucker.
Dean, the Green Fleet Eevee champion for 2021, everyone.
One of them.
There's no one else on here that's also a champion.
Exactly.
Was on here. Yeah, so Adam Fletcher actually messaged me directly to say he's with me on the Star Wars thing. So yeah. Kept that quiet, didn't you, Adam? Let me fall for that. Anyways, enough Star Wars talk. Let's go to John Curtis in the mailroom because we have a few questions in there, I think.
We do, mate. Yes, we've got loads. So, Ollie, are you there, Ollie? You are. Right. So, what do you see as the main obstacle to electrification of the remaining part of your fleet? So, you're taking the low-hanging fruit. What's the big barrier that you've got to overcome to go 100%?
Look, vehicle range is increasing. I think the more supply and demand will become an issue, and already people are seeing that. I've been on calls recently where some people are getting their vehicles probably delivered in 2023. So there's that issue. Let's face it, charging is, look, people who have got their head around it, like most of us probably preaching to the choir, drive EVs and understand that, you know, you've got to make some adjustments and work around it. But when you're talking about a delivery driver, for example, who's done 10, 11 hours a day, can't just fill up in 10 minutes or 5 minutes, charging is a challenge. Because of our business model, we don't intend to really charge at depot. So it's home and public. You know, depot, some of our depots this week will be dealing with like 350 routes a day, which would be 350 vans. You don't have the physical space to park 350 vans, let alone the electrical capacity to charge those. And then you're potentially getting drivers then to have another vehicle to drive home and back, which is probably an ICE car or something, you know. So there are those challenges, definitely. Yeah, I would say charging is the biggest challenge. Most of our routes average, I think the network average is about 70 miles. So, right, you know, a lot of those routes are within range. But then you've got to think about the ODF, who is our owner-driver franchisee. If they live, how far away do they live from the depot? You've got to add that mileage on. Look, we have not ordered a final mile diesel delivery vehicle this year. We don't intend to moving forward. You know, we're now, look, vans are really business as usual. We need to be looking at the big stuff now. And what to do with that. And we're already doing some studies and research on that piece as well.
That's pretty impressive. No diesels this year for that final local delivery.
And we won't, unless there's some massive supply chain issues, because the bottom line is we still need to deliver parcels. You know, but I'm hoping that we get our electric vans that we've ordered on a timely basis.
Ollie, could I just, on that subject of other vehicles, what other things have you considered? Because obviously a blank canvas approach, you know, is probably needed in certain areas of the business. What else are you considering other than just vans?
Look, HGV or line haul, as we call it, is still a large part of our emissions pool. So we need to be looking at that. We've got, or will be looking to be net zero pretty quickly. I'm not going to state the date yet because it's not been announced from our head office. But, you know, big trucks are a part of that. I don't think there'll be one solution. We'll have to look at route. Well, we're already working on feasibility studies with the route mileage, you know, hydrogen, electric. You know, we didn't go with our electrification of final mile. We didn't go hybrid or anything. We've gone straight to electric. We need to be thinking about that instead of investing huge amount of money in CNG and HVO. Yes, they reduce emissions, but they're not renewables. You know, we need to just make the quantum leap, in my opinion.
Good call.
Ollie, a question from me really, and that's, are you the driving force behind this, or is there an individual within the organisation who has said this has got to happen, or is it a board decision? How have you got that momentum within the organisation to invest that heavily and make it work?
Sure, we're really fortunate. We're owned by La Poste, the French Postal Service. DPD Group operates across Europe and other countries around the globe. And we are wanting to be the reference player of sustainable delivery. We believe it's the right thing to do, obviously morally and ethically and commercially as a business. It is the right thing to do. And that's why we've been doing it, and we've been doing it very quietly since 2012. When light commercial vehicles, you know, electric light commercial vehicles weren't really viable, we started offsetting. And I know they're dirty words or met with a lot of cynicism in this area, but we started doing that, and we still do today, offset. And every parcel delivered in the UK and across DPD's network in Europe is delivered carbon neutral. And I think we can talk about that now, because obviously the big trucks and stuff we can't do anything about at the moment, or we can do small things but not huge impact. But you know what we're doing with the vehicles, with what you guys have seen on those slides, the numbers, no one is going that quickly and pushing that far. And you know we've got to offset still, but we've been doing that, and that cost is to the business, not to our customers or consumers. So we're doing that on our back, not on someone else's.
Has that been driven from the top down?
Yeah, I didn't really answer your question there, did I? Yeah, from the top. So it is board level, everyone involved, from Boris Winkleman, who is our chairman at group level, Elaine Kerr, who is our CEO at DPD Group, to everyone. Like back in start of 2020, we always had a 1, 2, 3 box strategy. I always joke that we don't have pillars in our organisation. We have boxes because we're a parcel delivery firm. We love our boxes. And that third box, the fourth box, sorry, that we launched was green. It was to be the most sustainable delivery company in the UK. You know, I'm not saying we are, because cost comparisons with other industry competitors can be sort of, everyone measures things differently, but we aim to be. And you look at those stats, and it's not just about vehicles, it's about energy, buildings, you know, all the other pieces, donating to good causes in a sustainable eco, you know, recycling, waste. I could go on the website, guys, and you'll see everything. Yeah.
Ollie, I was going to cut you off for a second then, because we are a bit behind on the agenda, and it's now time to move on to the next topic, which is a very serious one, actually, or not, whatever way you look at it, because we need to talk about the importance of mental health. And we have our resident Paul Kirby, who talks about this a lot on our Eevee Café sessions, quite rightly, and John Curtis, who kindly opened up to us this morning at the start. But we also have Emma Loveday from DriveTech, who is going to talk to us a bit more about this and the importance of mental health, especially with drivers this time of year, you know, all the rubbish around COVID. So hello, Emma, and welcome to the Eevee Café.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about driver mental health and well-being. So I'm just going to share my screen. Please give me a shout when you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So believe me when I say it's been incredibly challenging to condense such an important and valuable topic into just 5 minutes. So please understand if I might go slightly over, and I'm very conscious we're already running quite behind time, so apologies, but I don't think this should be rushed, and I hope you would agree with that. So I just want to start with some statistics, first of all, which will absolutely highlight why this is such an important topic and should rightly be as a session on Eevee Café today. So 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem in the UK every year. And professional drivers have been identified as a high-risk group when it comes to poor mental health. And more shockingly, suicide is the leading cause of death for men under the age of 50. So working in the industries that we do, transport, logistics, supply chain, fleet, where a significant proportion of our workforces will be men under the age of 50 and will be professional drivers, we need to make sure that mental health and well-being is absolutely something that we are talking about, educating ourselves on, and have systems and processes in place within our own organisations that can help drivers if they need it. Remember, driver mental health and well-being is a really important, if not, I think, the most important consideration when looking at a person's fitness and ability to drive. And more than that, being able to drive safely. So what is the impact of poor mental health on a person's ability to drive safely? Drivers are more likely to be distracted, experience lapses in concentration, be fatigued. These can be reactions to acute stressors within a person's life, or can actually be a result of a more chronic long-term stress. Drivers are more likely to take risks, be less cautious, potentially be more susceptible to road rage. These are all indicators of poor driver well-being, and all of these are high-risk behaviours that increase the likelihood of collisions on the road. I've just mentioned stress. So workplace stress can also have an adverse effect on a person's ability to drive and their behaviour behind the wheel. There's plenty of research that shows a link between driver stress and unsafe driving behaviours, such as poor road positioning, aggression, and aggression relates to greater speed, road traffic violations, and again, collisions. In the UK, the increasingly demanding work culture is one of the biggest contributors to stress among the general population. So identifying stress as early as possible should be an important part of managing risk and well-being among your business drivers. There are other key contributors to stress, such as financial well-being, relationships, bereavement, or the risk of unemployment. And all of them have very much been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic these past 18 months, kind of 2 years. Christmas time as well can be stressful for some individuals and families for various reasons. With us now in kind of full swing of Christmas, and I'm sure Ollie and Graham can both kind of corroborate this, operational demands in certain sectors, retail, logistics, last mile delivery, will increase drastically. 1 in 3 people are expected to shop exclusively online this Christmas, which means that the run up to Christmas will be particularly intense for organisations involved in that e-commerce space. That increase in demand will of course impact the drivers who work within these sectors and for these organisations. And it's not difficult to assume that drivers will be experiencing more work pressure and stress to keep up with the demands at this time of year, longer hours, demanding delivery schedules, and likely less time for proper rest breaks throughout the day. And we should all know that proper rest breaks are really, really important for driver safety. So what can employers do to help with mental health well-being? Promote openness about mental health. Make it a focus and a priority within your organisations. Have it on your agenda. Have conversations about it. Transport, fleet and line management should keep the conversation open with drivers and be available for drivers to express any potential concerns that might impact on their driving behaviour or activities. A two-way communication process to show management are listening and willing to create change if necessary. And actually the use of technology can help in identifying mental health issues and can also provide a means to improve it. So telematics technology can help identify any trends or changes in drivers' behaviour behind the wheel. Is there a significant increase in speeding of a driver, or have there been more harsh braking or cornering events detected? Is this out of character? Is it a sign of a stressed employee? Perhaps maybe a driver has had multiple collisions over a short period of time. Is this an indicator of something else that's going on with that driver? Have that conversation. I'd recommend including mental health in your health and safety policies as well, and set targets for improvement. So the number of employees that are off work with stress and the number of work days that are lost due to stress are really useful and easily obtainable measures of the mental health and well-being of your organisation and its employees. By having that visibility, you can then set targets for improvement. Check in with staff on a regular basis, schedule regular one-to-ones, include open questions such as how are you feeling, or is there anything bothering or concerning you at the moment as part of that conversation. If you can't have them face-to-face, and I know it's really challenging at the moment to have those face-to-face, both in regards to COVID, but also in regards to the fact that it's now Christmas time and guys are out on the road a lot, try to have them on video at least. It will help you to monitor and potentially recognise any concerns or changes in character or mood your staff might have. Ensure that all staff know who they can go to and not just their line manager for a confidential chat. Consider qualifying employees as mental health first aiders. Peer-to-peer conversations can sometimes be more comfortable than conversations with line management. And having an employee assistance programme as well is also really important. And that can offer personalised specialist assistance that's independent and confidential to help employees to overcome any personal issues that they might have. So that brings me to the presentation. I hope I've kept to 5 minutes. I could talk a lot longer on this topic if I was allowed to. Thanks for listening. I'm sure you all agree how important this topic is and how great it is that the Eevee Café, with its platform and the industry reach that you guys have got, the fact that it's included on the agenda today is really, really great. So thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Emma. Johnny's on mute.
I just realised I was on mute. Oh, I was going really deep then as well. I was just going to say thank you very much, Emma, and I guess the message is it's okay not to be okay, and I think I can speak for everyone on the panel today that we are here to talk to anyone at any time. I want to acknowledge Darren Anvana. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Darren. He's got a very good idea. He's put in the chat box, I'll read it out. He's put, I think we as consumers take our delivery drivers for granted. Maybe there needs to be a delivery driver appreciation day. maybe offer them a biscuit, mince pie, share the love. So thought I'd just share that. I thought that was really good.
And it's Anne Voner. There you go. Darren spelled.
Now I know.
There you go. Spelled out.
Cheers, Paul Kirkby.
But yeah, I agree. It's a great suggestion. Yeah.
Cheers, Paul Kirkby. I just want to open the floor now to this very important topic before we go to Geotab's Christmas message. Sarah.
We've got mental health first aiders at Almtronics, and they're actually a really excellent first port of call, because people can be afraid to go to HR in case it becomes something noted on your record, or if you have a not very understanding manager. So how can we go about becoming mental health first aiders ourselves?
I think the easiest thing to do, and this is probably quite a silly answer, but absolutely just Google mental health first aiders. There is a scheme involved that employers can sign up to. You know, it's a 2 to 5 day course. I think it varies in regards to length, but it's absolutely something that employers can do, and there is funding available to do that if that's something that you wanted to introduce within your organisations. It's not a new thing. It has been around for a couple of years, but I think it's really, really important to promote that.
Good thinking. And also, there's always a slight discrepancy between stress, which is easily identifiable, as you say, even with telematics can reveal that, but then how stress can mask a deeper depression. And at the point at which somebody who has appeared stressed multiple times over multiple years, and that's not what your employer can do. That's your friends and your family. That's who you need to be in close contact with, and not hide how you're actually feeling, because there's always a way. There's always help. There's always support. There's always a vent or something that you can go to for just a little bit decompression to avoid that deeper depression if you're feeling stressed.
I think having people, I mean, the Eevee Café is a great example, having people that are willing to share their experiences and hold their hands up and say, actually, my mental health isn't great. Having people almost lead the way in those conversations absolutely will remove that stigma, and absolutely will make it easier for hopefully one person, but hopefully more, to actually share their experiences and how they're feeling. If other people are doing it, and if you're brave enough to do it and happy to do that, fantastic. Lead the way with those conversations and people will follow you. It will remove that stigma.
This is about growing the Eevee community, and within that community, 1 in 4 people will be affected. So please do allow us as your Avengers to support you. We've helped people get jobs, we've helped join the dots for people within the industry, and let us help you with this as well. We're 5 very experienced people at the stage in our lives where we've got lots to add. So please do just reach out to this community.
Thank you. It's now time to welcome Adam to the Eevee Café from Geotab to share their very special Christmas message. Hello, Adam.
Yeah. Hello there, guys. Tough act to following that subject. So yeah, really pleased that Geotab, though, just to mention quickly, we've got access to online GP and various other resources that we can lean on. So yeah, really good topic to cover, and of course, yeah, telematics can play their part as well. So yeah, thank you for inviting us along. Want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas at the start, just in case I forget at the end or run out of time. So it reminds me, I had our Christmas party last week, so I just wanted to share a bit of a joke from a cracker. What do the Germans call a Tesla? A Volkswagen. There we go. A Volkswagen. There we go. Bit of a dip. I know. Poor. Very poor. No more of that then.
Was that the best bit of your party?
That's the best bit about a party, yeah. No, on a more serious note, the car market was seeing a complete improvement in the recovery mode with sales soaring after the pandemic. But what's different this time is that we're seeing an increase in the amount of EVs that are being purchased. So in the EV space, we've got new manufacturers that are challenging the traditional industry leaders. That hasn't happened with, that hasn't happened in a way with vehicles for a very long time. Most famously, of course, is Tesla, as I've just car crashed and mentioned, which is also now by a long way the leading or most valuable car manufacturer in the world. So alongside it comes companies like Rivian, Arrival, and Nikola, BYD, all taking an electric first approach, which is very encouraging, and they're making a massive dent in the automotive industry. Meanwhile, however, we've still got the traditional giants of the motor sector, such as Mercedes, Ford, and Volvo, all now producing EV ranges for various use cases, from a 32-ton panel van to 44-ton haulage trucks. Whilst I mentioned Volvo, I'm pleased to announce that the Volvo XC40 PHEV was Geotab's 200th supported EV that was reverse engineered by our team. So really good work by our automotive team, particularly in 2021, as we've reverse engineered over 100 EVs in the calendar year, and that continues to grow. So from our side, we're trying to push the data that we can support on EVs to drive the EV transition, and then also help fleets operate electric, which we believe is very important. But EVs just don't make a good business case. They're essential to maintain a sustainable footprint. More and more companies make a use for their own CSR, or sorry, should I say corporate social responsibility, sorry, Paul, then turning to an electric fleet makes more sense, right? So ICE vehicles are responsible for more than a quarter of the carbon emissions into the atmosphere. In densely populated areas, their tailpipe emissions could be more and more of a problem. So imagine eliminating that CO2 pollution from your fleet at a stroke. This year, GeoTab has signed a carbon pledge in association with Amazon, which a commitment to a carbon net zero by 2030. We produced our own sustainability report, our first ever. It's available online, and we can share that with anyone who wants to have a read through. It's certainly a good read. And it's showing what we want to do and what we want to achieve on our road to a sustainability future. So we participated in SIF and COP26 this year with Amazon, showing how we're working together to reduce the carbon footprint. One of our missions is to help companies to help themselves. Only by using telematics can they truly measure their fleet performance and see how their cost savings are reducing their carbon emissions. So fleet managers should have 3 things on the Christmas list this year. Please, Santa, bring me the latest EV pickup trucks that I need to complement my fleet. Please, Santa, bring me sustainability savings I need to help my company's CSR manager happy, to make my CSR manager happy. And please bring me the management tools to help manage my fleet and make sure I optimize the savings and take full advantage of the technology to drive towards an electric future. So from everyone at GeoTab, just want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And hopefully I've whizzed through that in enough time to catch up.
Yeah, I think Dean's a bit upset because you had a bit more time there, Adam. Thank you very much. Yeah, so excellent. I think it's we're just a little bit conscious of time. So we've heard from Olly. I'm surprised I pronounced his name right out of all the names, to be honest, Olly Craughan. But we've heard from him in terms of delivering our presents. But what about our Christmas turkeys or vegan turkey, shall I say? So over to Graham. Hello, Graham.
I'll just get the technology to work, and we'll talk about where we're at with our electric transition. Hopefully you can all see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, good. So the road to electric vehicles with bells on, it has to be said. So there we go. So electric vehicles, and Sam knows this, and Sam and I have had conversations about this in the past. They're not new. We put our first 2 electric vehicles on the road in 2010, our trial vehicles, 100% battery electric. I took BEV out of there, Paul, just for your benefit. They were running out of White City and Park Royal. Now, the challenge was they had to be 5 ton to maintain payload parity, because electric vehicles in 2010 were quite heavy, and we've got a pretty lightweight 3.5 ton diesel van, which is refrigerated, it carries your food, and it comes off the factory line with about 1,200 kilos of payload, which is pretty good for a fridge van in that category. By the time we put the driver in, some cages, some totes and stuff, it comes down to just under a ton. But we had no chance of doing that on a battery electric in 2010. So the challenge with the 5 ton is we needed a vocational license. It was old technology, so it was slow to charge. We could only use them once a day. But we ran them nonetheless out of those 2 sites. We moved them into our Hatfield HGV site, where we had drivers with the right licenses in 2018, used them on some shuttle runs between Hatfield and Welwyn Garden City, before finally retiring them in 2020. So that's where we started with it. Whilst those were on the go, we've done some exploration. So we looked at the triple, which is this Norwegian thing, Danish thing, somewhere over there in Scandinavia, and We can only get small delivery routes on it. We could do what we call redeliveries, because believe it or not, all of our customers book a 1 hour delivery slot. We tell them when we're going to deliver. We tell them when we're nearly there. When we get there, they've gone out. And then they phone us up and say, can you come back and deliver it tomorrow? So that's what a redelivery is. And actually, they're not all that good for negotiating traffic because they're still quite bulky. There were some concerns over rider vulnerability. So they had limited success and not really something that we're going to progress with moving forward. We stumbled eventually across our blueberries, which are the van of choice for the time being. One of the things that allowed this was 2018. Obviously, we were given the Category B driving license derogation, which allowed us to drive our 3.5 tons or up to 4.25 ton on a 3.5 ton Category B license. We capitalised on that. We bought in 2019 the first 15 BDO battery electric vans. And the crucial bit with those was that we had payload parity. So we don't have to put any additional vehicles on the road, albeit these cost more than a standard diesel van. And the lead time is a good sight longer. These took almost a year from ordering to completion. We've got some solar on the roof, which allows us to support the fridge. We're running the fridge off the traction battery, so we haven't got to have a separate leisure battery for powering the fridge, which is one of those things that helps us achieve payload parity. And we've now got over 40 either in fleet or on order, all running out of our Park Royal site. Say the biggest single challenge with them is that we've got such a long lead time on them because they're an aftermarket conversion on a Fiat chassis. So, but actually in 2019 when we took them on, or 2018 when we ordered them, and even today, it's still streets ahead than a lot of the other main OEM product that we can get in this weight category. These will do somewhere in the region of 70-ish miles. We don't need that kind of range out of Park Royal, but equally, if you don't do the training, which is 5 hours of training we need to do for the derogation, and if you don't do that, that's a problem. And even with the training, you occasionally get a driver that's driven it like he stole it, and then the range soon drops away. And we have our Zoom operation. We want it now. It's an immediacy platform. So not only have we got these customers that have got all this information about when we're going to deliver and then not be in, we've got customers that get out of bed in the morning and don't decide what they're going to have until about an hour before they want it. So you can order within a 5 kilometre radius of our Acton location. You can order and have your order delivered within an hour. So it's a limited range, but the beauty of that is because of where it is in Acton and because of the geography it's serving, it's absolutely screaming for an Eevee solution. Ocado Retail, who obviously run that operation, have that operation, are keen to make sure that we get that into a zero-emission fleet. So over the time, we've trialled different configurations of e-cargo bikes, EAVs, and it's probably looking like, and I've left these in, Paul, sorry, car drive vans, electric car drive vans are looking like the likely solution for this operation moving forward. The cargo bike thing, and again, I know Sam will talk about this a lot. The cargo bike solution really doesn't work very well. It's not great for the drivers, it's not great for churn. And actually, even though it's a 5 kilometre radius that we're delivering within, we can still do 100 miles a day, such is the popularity of this service. So that's quite a lot of pedal power. So what next? There's more to come. So as was announced recently, we're working with Ford on the customer trials of their e-Transit ahead of its launch next year. That is in service in Park Royal today. We have got 2 factory-built e-Ducato chassis cabs on order from Fiat at 4.25 ton, and we'll be able to stand those as a direct comparison against the BDOs that we're already operating. We're currently designing the body to fit the Maxus E9 chassis cab at 4050 tons or 4050 kilos. And there's 4 of those chassis cabs on order for us to play with and really evaluate. And on paper, it looks really positive. We're working with our long-time partners at Mercedes-Benz. However, eSprinter at a 3.5 ton chassis cab or 4 1/4 is not anywhere near where we need it to be, and it's a long way behind the curve. What we have put on the road with them is 4 Eevee shuttle buses that we run around our head office location. So we always encourage our head office staff to be working and commuting via public transport, the train, and the e-tourers run from Hatfield Station to around our head office locations and between our head office locations and the spokes within Hatfield. So there's 4 of those on the road that have been on the road now for 3 months, and the 2 that are due to retire next year will be replaced with electrics as well. There are still risks, and this is some of this that Ollie covered earlier on. Internal stakeholder engagement, site selection, and security of power supply. We're building new sites for fun still at the moment. I've got people talking to me about anything up about 23 live projects. The challenge is they want to put 300 vans in there that'll all do 150 miles twice a day, delivering cold groceries, and then charge them overnight. And we're not anywhere near that kind of range yet in terms of where we can get to with vehicles. The Category B licence derogation is due to end in 2023. What we know at the minute is the vehicles we've got on the road at that point we'll be able to carry on using. We don't know what the future looks beyond that in terms of being able to grow that fleet further. The fridge operation absolutely impacts range, and that's why we're using things like the solar to try and hinder that. To try and aid that and not hinder it too much. And we're also looking at regenerative axles to see whether or not we can do something with the regen to top the fridge up, or making sure we're topping the traction battery up. And so those existing site designs are a problem. What we've got with, whilst we're trying to engage the stakeholders around new sites, we've got to do something with the existing sites. And some of those are severely power constrained. We've got a site in Wimbledon where if somebody switches the shower on, then the dock level has stopped working. So that's a bit of a challenge for us. Market maturity. There are still limited manufacturers with the right model range for us. But most of the manufacturers have gone after their panel vans and their small vans first. And rightly so, why wouldn't you? The challenge with that is that we're at the back of the queue in terms of that development piece, and obviously volume production. BDO, we can order as many as we want, but the reality is it's a small firm, and it will be a challenge for us to order. We're ordering between 400 and 600 vans a year, and there's nowhere on this earth at the moment there's a manufacturer out there ready to deal with that for us. And the burning timelines, I guess, around the banning of registration of new ICE engines may lead us investing in suboptimal solutions. So, we're pushing this along as quickly as we can, and we're looking at our own stuff in-house and what we might be able to develop as well. We've got some pointy-headed IT folk that love doing this stuff, but it's not plain sailing, and it still takes. There's an awful lot to invest in terms of R&D. So we're working on it, and our electric. I did some quick sums. Our electric vehicles this year have probably made somewhere in the region of 620,000 home deliveries of groceries, purely on Eevee at that Park Royal site. So we're making some good progress, but there's still lots for us to do. And that's me.
That was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Graham. You need to look at the chat box, because a lot of people are saying a lot of positive stuff about what you're doing at Ocado, but you certainly need to get enough range in your van to drop me off a turkey.
Vegan turkey, Johnny, probably.
A vegan turkey, yeah, of course it is.
Probably. That's just the box.
So Adam has his hand up. So Adam, do you have a question?
Yeah, it's just a question that pops in mind, probably for Graham and Ollie, really. Can any of your domestic or commercial customers specify what type of vehicle their deliveries are made in? And if not, is that a feature that you think will come out in the future, you know, for anyone who's got a sustainable, you know, mind or company that's got a sustainable process that they want to follow?
If it's all right for me to speak, Adam, if you get a DPD delivery, you should get a notification via email or the app or text. And if it's on an ICE vehicle, it'll be a red notification because that's DPD's colour. If it's on an Eevee, you'll get a green notification that sort of tells you that an Eevee is coming. Again, if you have downloaded the DPD app, I'm not selling this, but if you get a delivery on an Eevee, back in June this year, we worked with Tree App. So when you get 50 Eevee deliveries, we'll plant a tree for you as well. So we can't yet tell you that you're definitely going to get an Eevee delivery, and it'll be up to our customer. So the John Lewis's, the ASOS's, the EEs of this world to put that on their checkout at some point, that, you know, you could opt, because if you go on a website, typically it doesn't tell you the carrier, it tells you next day, or because our customers might utilize several carriers in that. But there'll be a point where hopefully on that checkout, you'll be able to go as a consumer, I'm going to go electric. And hopefully people make that choice over an ICE delivery, which will mean that DPD will be very busy delivering parcels.
Yeah. Anything to further add, Graham? Sorry.
Yeah, so the only thing we at the moment we only run EVs out of one location in Park Royal. You can't select it. What you can do is when you book your delivery slot, we'll tell you if there's another van already in your area within that time slot. And that'll be denoted by a green van to say, actually, you know, there's already somebody three doors away having a delivery in this hour. So it'd be really good for you to book that one. And that's just around cutting down road miles, regardless of the vehicle is there. So not yet, but I think it's something that will come in the future as and when EVs take a more prominent place in our fleet.
Sam, you've got your hand up. We'll go for one more question, and then it's time for a Christmas story from Sarah, and then we'll go back
possibly
to
go wrong.
Yeah, I had a quick question for Graham, actually, and interesting what you mentioned about cargo cycles. I had the privilege of sharing a stage with Ollie back in the summer at Fully Charged, and we dismissed cargo cycles ever so slightly as Eevee vans are king, and then we hear from Ocado that Julie the same. So who'd have thought cargo cycles aren't necessarily the solution to mass logistical future? But you heard it here last, folks.
I wondered how long it would take you.
You heard it here last.
How long you'd take to get the foot.
Yeah, well, you know, we got
I can smell the smug from here. I really can.
Seriously, we've got to focus on the stuff that actually works, and otherwise we're never going to be able to deliver material change as a collective. So that was my soapbox piece. My question to Graham was: I noticed on your slides, Graham, that the first vehicles you decommissioned 10 years later, which is really quite impressive. So, you know, they're very, very early generation, and yet you still ran them for a decade. I think that's amazing, and that really does, I think, if I read that correctly, because I only saw it fleetingly, it sort of demonstrates, does it not, that even the first generation ones are standing the test.
Oh, we just lost Sam.
Time in terms of reliability.
Yeah, Sam, you cut out then, mate. Didn't know.
So let's go with yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ran those first ones for 10 years.
Am I right, Graham? They're from Panel Techs in Hull.
Yes, that's right. They were. Yes, correct. Yeah. Panel Techs EVs from Hull on an Isuzu chassis.
Yeah.
We ran them for 10 years. They didn't work as hard as a normal van because we could only do one route a day with them because of the time it took to charge. So, you know, that's not to say that they weren't they were a failure. They absolutely did a good job. And in fact, they both went off with the original brake pads still in them. Which was astonishing. But yeah, you know, we had to have a couple of battery cells replaced over that 10-year period. Probably, I think one had a complete new set of batteries, but they, you know, from a working point of view, they did a job for us.
Brilliant.
It's a bit like the
And
Eevee Cafe.
guys...
You know, Paul doesn't work as hard as the rest of us, but you know, we still keep him.
Yeah, I just wonder if we can
It's
take
very
that same
true.
approach and replace the cells or replace Paul Kirby and
Place some cells here. But Olly Craughan, on a serious note, so 10 years you ran those vehicles. Are you running vehicles over a longer life cycle? Do you anticipate that is what is going to happen, that vehicles will become maybe more reliable, more robust?
It's early days, I guess.
And just
The
simply...
silence, Paul.
Yeah, okay.
Paul, you're dropping out as well now, mate.
What about you, Ollie? Okay, where we are.
I'm sorry, we seem to be having some technical problems there.
It's early days.
I don't think Sam's
But
moved.
it's early days, but
5 minutes.
Ollie.
Right, cool. Paul. You know, we run our vehicles, typically ICE vehicles, 5 years. It's not just mechanics, it's brand as well. But we foresee the EV fleet running for a couple more years on top of that. But look, the future, we'll just have to see how these vehicles operate in the real world and how they last. But yeah, we think that it may be 6-7 years for a vehicle.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
I think we now need to finish off. Oh, sorry, Graham.
I was just going to say, we've planned these BDOs over 8 years, and that's largely driven around the cap cost for the TCO on them because of the value of the things. So, but I'm comfortable from an EV point of view. They'll do 8 years. The body will probably need a refurb at probably 4 years.
Yeah. Geotab have some good. They have a battery degradation calculator tool, don't you, Adam? Which is quite a good tool.
Yeah, I've shared that in the chat. So we.
Oh right. Okay, excellent.
So for anyone who wants to go on, they can click on and go and search and have a look. You know how the battery behaves over the lifespan that we've got the data.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Well, I think we need to now finish off with a little Christmas tale from Sarah.
Oh, I really wanted to share the beautiful images of the book, but I'm not going to be able to, so I'm going to try and do it like this. Okay. So gather round, everybody. This is a tale of interoperability at Christmas. So it was almost Christmas and the Eevee industry was a flurry of activity. The Avengers were bustling here and there, putting up the Christmas tree and registering for all the leading industry events, helping to decarbonise and grow the Eevee community in a fun and inclusive way. John was scampering about, squeaking with excitement, and everybody was looking forward to Christmas. Well, almost everybody, unless you weren't featured on the Zap Map rankings list, that is. Now, grumpy, non-collaborative Eevee operators looked out of the window and scowled. "Happy Christmas," shouted GridServe, having announced new hubs. Instavolt, Osprey, Podpoint and Swarco, and all the other friendly destination and curbside operators. Roaming partners and CPOs joined in the cheer. "Interoperability? What piffle," said Grumpy Badger. "I want to sleep throughout the cold winter. Now I'm going to bed until the next round of government and policy guidance, and if anybody forces me to open my network, I will be very, very grumpy." And with that, he shut the charging port with a clunk. Another knock at the policy door, and this time it was Squirrel. "Hello, Badger. I've brought you an early Christmas present. It's way more customers using your system."
Oh, dear.
"A Christmas present? Piffle and triple piffle. I don't like presents and I don't like collaboration." And he shut the OCPI API door with a crash. And off he went to sleep again until, "No!" screamed Grumpy Badger, sitting bolt upright, suddenly wide awake. "What have I done? How can we truly decarbonise if we don't work together?" So he decided to throw an EV party. Badger's party was the best party ever. There were fleet operators, van drivers and EV drivers, trikes and bikes, and eager. Were we going to go with? Should we not invite the e-trikes anymore? Are the cargo bikes not welcome? Anyway, they were all happy. They were all there charging off renewable energy, and the electrons jiggled and jived, joked and laughed right into 2030 by meeting their target deadline. So happy Christmas, everybody. And if you don't use our chargers next time, Badger will be very grumpy indeed.
Brilliant.
Probably we have to end on that.
Amazing.
Can I just say
You need to see the
the
pictures, they're so adorable. I'll send them to you.
I'm coming. I'll be in now. Right, to look at them.
Okay.
the recording of this will be available, and we can do a special edit of just Sarah.
Yeah,
for
just
those
my
who'd
career
like to
suicide.
download it from
honestly.
Spotify.
All right, that was amazing. On it, like my inner child is so happy right now. I feel like that was the best thing.
I just feel like piffle is a word we need to bring back. I might even try and weave it into my to my next performance. And my next performance is going to be covering the Geotab tool that's in the chat there. So definitely worth a check.
Well done, Sarah. Brilliant.
Thank you
Lovely.
for
Well,
having me.
I don't know how we can go on after that, to be honest. We should just end it right there.
Well, don't be grumpy badgers, everybody.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support this year. We're looking forward to 2022. I wish everybody a happy. We wish everyone a happy Christmas.
Definitely.
Very much
Thank
so.
you. Thank you,
And
everybody.
remember, if things get hard, you know where we are. Okay.
Happy Christmas.